right, whenever you're ready.
Can anyone name a movie director?
Quentin Tarantino.
Awesome. All those are great directors, but I'm here to tell you about a director that you might not have heard of. Her name is Kathryn Bigelow. As a DMP major, I have watched a lot of movies. I've seen 2 of her movies, and they've blown me away by how powerful they are, and they've always stuck in my mind. Her latest films, The Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, and Detroit, all have important themes that are relevant to our time, but are also kind of timeless, so I think you all should watch them. Kathryn Bigelow is one of the most famous female directors, and we will discuss how she got into the industry, some of the films she made, and one of her biggest awards. To begin, we must look at Bigelow before she started filmmaking. She was born on November 27, 1951, in San Carlos, California. Her education includes studying painting at the San Francisco Art Institute, an independent study program at the Whitney Museum of Art, and a master's degree in film theory and criticism from Columbia. Why did she make the switch from painting to film? Well, Bigelow said herself, whereas painting is a rarefied art form with a limited audience, I recognize film as this extraordinary social tool that could reach tremendous numbers of people. This quote was taken from her biography.com profile by the website's editors. Now that she's decided to make films, what kind of films did she make? Her first film was a short film called Setup, released in October of 1978. In the same biography.com profile from 2014, the editors of the website recalled the film by saying, reviews for the film were mixed, while some criticizing its weak plot and intense violence, while others praised its imagery. This means that even though the story might not have been the best, Bigelow was still starting to show potential in her direction. Now this brings me to the first film I ever saw of her, The Hurt Locker. It starred Jeremy Renner and Anthony Mackie and was released on June 5th, 2009. It revolves around American soldiers during the Iraq War whose job was to find and defuse bombs. I remember first watching this movie and how intense, not the big action gunfire scenes or an amazing plot twist, but on the 10-minute long scenes of finding the bombs and which wire to cut, those types. And on June 25th, 2009, A.O. Scott from the New York Times published an article reviewing The Hurt Locker. He said, this movie is viscerally exciting, adrenaline-soaked, tour de force of suspense and surprise, full of explosions and hectic scenes of combat, but it blows a hole in the condescending assumption that such effects are empty spectacle or mindless noise. And I read this quote and it felt like he took the words right out of my mouth, so I'll just leave it at that. Our next film after The Hurt Locker was called Zero Dark 30 and was released on December 12th, 2012. It starred Jessica Chastain, Jason Clarke, and even Chris Pratt as a Navy SEAL. This movie was about the team in charge of capturing and killing Osama bin Laden at post 9/11 attacks. I watched this movie and it's 2 hours and 37 minutes long, but still it kept me on the edge of my seat, which I thought that was amazing. Peter Dravers of Rolling Stone published his review of the film on December 18th, 2012, in which he said, you're in for a hell of a ride with this high voltage fluid that digs with shocking gravity into the decade-long hunt for Osama bin Laden. In an interview from 2012 on the YouTube channel DP30, The Oral History of Hollywood, I found this quote by Bigelow in which she said, war is the great canvas of all the major themes of our time, which I thought that was great to put in. Now, winning awards isn't the most important thing in a filmmaker's career, but Kathryn Bigelow made history with her Oscar win. She was the first female director to ever win Best Director for her film The Hurt Locker. And even though the Academy Awards have been going on since 1929. And there's also another cool reason. I found this out while looking at my own copy of the Film Encyclopedia, The Complete Guide to Film and the Film Industry by Kaz and Nolan. It was published in 2012 by HarperCollins. I was reading the Catherine Bigelow section as research, and it said among her Oscar night competitors was former husband Cameron, nominated for his box office crusher Avatar. So not only did she beat a household name like James Cameron, who also did Titanic, he just so happened to be her ex-husband. And she beat him in one of his most popular films of all time. So even though winning isn't everything, this is a very important move in her career. In conclusion, we have discussed Catherine Bigelow's career, we have looked at her education, her transition from painting to filmmaking, we've looked at 3 of her films, their quality and their criticisms, and we recognized her in a male-dominated field by winning her first Oscar as director. So now, the next time when someone asks you to name a movie director, you can say Catherine Bigelow.
Awesome, great job.